Welcome back, Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy. And today's knife is the WE Knives Mini Buster. This is a Snecx tan design. He is a knife designer. Some people call him a knife maker. He doesn't claim himself to be a knife maker, just a hobbyist, he says on his Instagram page. He is from Malaysia and one of the most detail-oriented guys I think I've ever seen in the community. He originally had a larger version of this same knife that was, I think, a full-on custom. And then he also had a collaboration with Hoback Knives for the larger version. And now we have the collaboration with WE Knives and the mini version. But when I say mini, it's a normal size knife. The regular size is a pretty large knife in my opinion. The specs on this one is 8 inches overall, 3.5 inch blade, around a 3.5 inch grip area. 0.51 thickness. The width closed in the pocket is 1.23 inches. Your blade stock thickness is a pretty stout 0.15. And you have a thinness behind the thinnest portion of the edge of 14 thousandths on my particular variation, sharpened around 20 degrees per side. This knife, I got on the pre-order on Blade HQ for this knife, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a regular production WE knife or this was a limited, run like they do sometimes. I sure hope there's more of these coming out. If not, and you like the way this looks, just keep an eye out on the secondary market. I paid $280 for this variation. They also have a black washed and black handles too variation. I don't remember if that one was anymore. I didn't even really look at that one because I really wasn't interested in that. Let's get some quick size comparisons out of the way so you can kind of match those specs to an actual size of some knives. Two that are very similar in size, the TRM Atom and the Spyderco Smock. Both of these are very, very similar in size. Let's see. We also have the Paramilitary 2, which is a little bit longer, and up against the Para 3, which of course is a little bit shorter. So it's more close to the size of the Paramilitary 2. Two more quick ones. You have the 8-purpose blade Progeny. Similar in blade shape and somewhat similar. Progeny is a little bit shorter. And then you have the Benchmade 940, which is also a little bit shorter. Alrighty. Let's take a closer look at this. You have this very sexy, in my opinion, sheep's foot / Warncliffe blade shape. It has a nice top swedge up here with a little divot right there. You have a high flat grind, so they were able to thin this thick stock out pretty well. You have the WE logo right here, and I'm glad they didn't put that WE pivot. I think that would have detracted from this knife. I like how I think that was his decision to not have the WE logo pivot. So they compromised and put it there. As far as their Instagram posts, that's what it seemed like. You have his maker's mark, Snecx. You have the WE polished bead blast look. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. You have a nice sharpening choil that goes past the plunge line, so you won't have any smiles right there. As you can see, you have some jimping up top, but that jimping is rather smooth, so it's aesthetics only. Now you do have being that they have a little cutout right here and the raised portion of that backspacer, your thumb kind of fits in that little spot pretty well. Nice and comfortable in in your saber grip, hammer grip as well. Let's close it up. You have a very minimal flipper tab with a milled portion cut out on both sides of the scales for our landing pad. Very, very nice action. This one, unlike the original version was riding on phosphor bronze and had amazing action because he had the tolerances dialed in so tightly, but they went, being that this was going to be on a production scale, they went with the ceramic ball bearings, and with a light switch, this sucker flies out. Detent's dialed in perfectly. It's very hard to fail this. Let's see if I can fail it. One more try. Sometimes I just break it like this. Yep. I mean, if you were intentionally trying to fail it, you probably could. There's no jimping on that flipper tab. There's no sharp spots either. As you can see, it's been chamfered all the way around. You have a stop pin as a locator up here in the front. Let's open it back up. You have good access to that lock bar, even though it's pretty much flush with the lock side, which may be raised a hair. You do have these nice softened chamfers in the inside of there to easily get your finger in there to disengage that lockup. Now the detent on this one is his, what is it called? The hybrid pin detent system. As you can see right here, you have this stainless steel pin. Instead of a lock bar insert, that pin serves as, the end of it has a rounded portion as a detent, and it also acts as a lockup, kind of like on a Chris Reeve and Cosi or Umnumzon. So you have metal to metal engagement as a lockup, and he also, I knew the action felt really good and nice and snappy. Kind of felt like my whenever I had the Sky High in here, and that is because, well, let's see if I can show you all this. It has a flat, let's see if I can do it without the light. It has a flat detent ball. I don't know if y'all can actually see that, but the detent ball is flat on top, which allows for a crisper action when it breaks. It doesn't have to jump over the detent ball hole. It just pops off that detent. So nice positive detent, good engagement whenever it's in the closed position. Nice positive click. Yeah, standard hardware, T8 throughout. Very, very tight tolerances on that hardware. Loved it, love to see that. This is a Weehaw bit. And absolutely no wiggle whatsoever. Absolutely none. Very tight. It almost gets stuck in there. It's so tight. Love seeing that. So you don't run the risk of stripping it out easily like some of these more poorly constructed hardware. Love to see the same size throughout, even on the pocket clip. Just flat scales, but you have some nice deep chamfers all the way around. And one thing that Snecx is known for, if you follow him on Instagram, is his attention to detail. And he went for a symmetrical design on this knife. Everything on this side is mirrored on the other side. These chamfers right here, this window, that cutout, that chamfer, how the chamfers are on this side. If you flip it over, it's the same exact thing. The only difference is a pocket clip, but you don't put two pocket clips on there. So, you have a full-length titanium backspacer that the finish on the scale is like a bead blast finish, and the backspacer is raised a little bit, and you have that bead blast on the chamfer of it, and the top has a satin finish. And then you also have included in the Backspacer is the lanyard loop. So I like how they didn't put a hole to break up the lines here. You have pretty much a 1-to-1 blade to handle ratio. You're not going to touch that blade. Also, so that blade can sit deeper into the handle, this full-length Backspacer has a milled out portion, as you can see right here, all the way down in the inside for the blade to sit in there. One thing I thought was very impressive is the extensive internal milling. As you can see on this side, you even have it on the lock itself. He milled out as much as you possibly could without, you know, messing with the integrity of the strength. So that's really awesome to see. But even with those pockets, it's still not super light. I mean, if you look, you have some pretty thick slabs of titanium and that full-length Backspacer, so that's going to add a good bit of weight. 3.93 ounces, so not bad whatsoever, but, you know, some people that ounce and inch, woohoo, boohoo, might not like that. Pot clip is right hand tip up carry only. Let's check that out in the pocket real quick. Got the jeans. It slips in the pocket very well, and that's how much you have sticking out. So if you don't like, you know, knife sticking out your pocket, then this might not be the one for you. It does function really well. We always does a good job of retention on pocket clips. That's one company that I haven't ever really had an issue with any of their pocket clips, especially on their higher end models for sure. I did a little bit of cutting. I mean, I just got this in today. So this is, like I said, this is what I noticed offhand after spending some time with it throughout the day, carrying it today, and, you know, trying to get a feel for the knife. I'll probably do a more long-term review of this once I've had it and had a chance to use it well. I don't know if I said it or not, but the blade steel on here, if you can actually see that, right there is CPM 20 CV. So great choice for the steel. I like how you have these this nice window cut out right here so you can see the blade in the closed position. Very cool. If you're, like I said, if you're not following Snecx or Snecx on Instagram, definitely go check him out. When he like, if he shows a new project and he's showing you something he's doing, he tells in detail what he's doing and how he did it, and just the amount of work. Like the other day, he made a little jig to perfectly sand his chamfers, and he spent 7 hours on like a small little area just to make it perfect. So he definitely makes sure everything's right on the money. And I know whenever he started working with he pretty much had the, like, you know, it's probably one of Wee's easiest collaborations, because it's not like, you know, he didn't have just a hand-drawn picture and nothing. I'm sure he had the full-on CAD drawing, that everything how it should be to his preferences and standards. So we did a great job of executing it. You know, this knife definitely kind of toots Wee's horn. It shows their quality control and their machining tolerances. Very, very well made, perfectly centered. You can see it going through the uprights right there. So overall, I like the knife. And let me talk about a few of my nitpicks that, you know, I don't know if so far, I don't know if it's something any of these will cause me to get rid of the knife, but let's just talk about them real quick. First thing, I know a lot of people love the minimalist flipper tabs, and I think he does too, but for me, anytime you have a little short flipper tab like this, you're having to bury your finger into a point to make sure you get contact to be able to flip it. Now, the action is excellent on this, but after I flipped this a few times, probably 10, 15 times, it started hurting my finger pretty bad. So I'm sure it's something I would probably get used to, and I'm sure I probably will. But if I decide to keep this knife for the long haul, I've already decided I'm probably going to add me a thumb stud. That way I have both, if my finger starts getting sore, I can use my thumb stud. So that's the first thing. I did notice I was cutting up a small box just to see how it felt. It sliced really nicely. Like I said, mine's nice and thin behind the edge. But as I'm pulling in and out of the pocket, I did notice the tip on this pocket clip. It's a little pointy. I mean, nothing that I would wouldn't normally feel, but I grabbed it like this, and when I pulled up on it, that tip kind of caught my hand. But most of the time I was grabbing it out like this, so it's not really a huge problem. And I think I talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm not a huge fan of this polished, blasted looking finish, or however they're doing this. It kind of looks nice, but it smudges really easily. And if I keep it, that's probably another thing. I'll either probably put me a hand rub finish on here. That's probably what I'm going to do. Or do a nice stone wash or something. Haven't decided. Like I said, that'll all depend on whether I keep it for the long haul or not. And this is just something, like I said, knowing how meticulous Snecx is about his designs, and on this one, the symmetry of everything. Everything is symmetrical when it comes to all the milling and all that, and your hardware and your cutouts. But one thing that I kind of scratched my head on is you have a lock bar cutout relief on the inside, and it's matched on the opposite scale. And you have more milling down here. If you look around on this knife, you have all kinds of fine milling everywhere, just as a design aesthetic. But I don't really understand. You got a nice clean scale right here. You have your two cutouts, they match. Then you have another external lock bar cutout. I don't really get that. It would have looked much cleaner and much more symmetrical if that would have not been there at all, especially since you already have this one. So I'm not really sure about that. I don't know if that was the decision that we went with, or if he had a say in that, or maybe there's a reason behind it. If it has anything to do with him and the Snecx himself, if it was done like that, then there's a reason behind it, because he's a very intelligent person, and he doesn't do anything just because everything's done, for a specific reason. So there you go. This is the We and Snecx collaboration mini buster. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the knife or anything else, leave them down below. And I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.